Hello class, this is Tim Shanks here to tell you about my creative process. I did put a post on my hourglass process of 3D animation character making, and it pretty much goes with anything. Starts with chaos and then comes to the final product. I'll talk a little bit about how I get prepared and tap into my creative process with drawing. What I like to do is ask myself if this is the background I want, is this the image that I want to go with, do I want to, move how the person's sitting if I'm drawing a person, or if I'm drawing a building, do I, want to add to the photo I'm drawing from, or the live still that I'm drawing from. I also like to think about it a lot. Thinking brings into a lot of ideas into what you're doing. And one thing I do like to do is I like to stretch before. I like to stretch my arms, get ready, stretch my hands, touch my toes, and what have you, because I know when I start drawing, I'm going to be sitting there for a while. And that's a little bit of preparation. Uh, Sometimes I like to either print out, if I do take a photo or snatch an image from the internet, I like to print it out, maybe add a grid to it, maybe not. It's just easier to hold it beside me, and I'll sit there and study it for, quite some time or what have you, so I don't have to keep jumping back and forth from, looking at the image and looking at my drawing, what have you. One reason why I do look back and forth as well is make sure my proportioning is good, my angles are good, and what have you. I also like to play a little bit. What I mean by that is while I'm drawing, I might try to add something a little more exciting, or a little more dynamic to the drawing. For instance, if I'm drawing a person and they're smiling, sometimes I like to integrate a little sparkle to the eye, or even a sparkle to the teeth, and then continue from there. And to rewind a little bit, when I am thinking and asking, and I do, look into things and learn, as in, do you just start with a circle? Do you start with the eyes? Do you do a couple marks for the proportioning, as in like a little line above the head, a little line below the chin, a line to mark the shoulders, a little line to mark, the waist, the knees, the feet, what have you, so I, get that proportioning correct. And then after that, I like to fuse all the ideas together, as in, the marks for proportioning, looking at the image, make sure, if I start using, colored pencils, make sure, my colors are good and matched, or I might play a little bit and decide if, instead of green eyes, I want blue eyes, so on and so forth. And then after you fuse all your ideas, after you're, quote unquote, done learning, even though that never stops, uh, done learning, it's time to make that product. And, sit down, make sure you have your pencils with you, whether you're using charcoal or vine charcoal, Conte, graphite, colored pencils. Make sure you have, your erasers with you, uh, your chenille cloth, if you're doing some shading with that. Maybe even a pastel white to bring in, some sunshine, hitting the side of the face or the body. And always make sure you have like a little snack or a drink there if you plan on sitting there for a while. Make sure you're not disturbed. If you like to, do your projects with music, make sure it's not too loud. Make sure it's, down a little bit. Just kind of set the ambiance, and then get busy. And then eventually, you bring a masterpiece. Might not be a masterpiece to everybody, but as long as it's a masterpiece to yourself and satisfies yourself, good to go. But as we know, most artists are never satisfied. We just got to say, hey, this is it. And turn it in, present it, what have you. And then once you, turn it in, present it, there's a whole other creative process to that as well. Because, you're going to start preparing, and tapping into your audience, so on and so forth. And I like to call it the progression of creativity, because it's always progressing. whether it's the preparation to present, to an audience, to your employer, to your instructor, what have you. But the most important part is at the beginning of it all. I know, with me it starts out chaotic, and as long as you're able to bring that chaos down to earth and ground it, you'll be all right. And there's a little taste of my creative process, and I look forward to seeing your videos and where our creative process takes us. Have a great day, and zigzag.